and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jodie, and in this video I'm just going to be talking about some of my favourite watches from the past week. For a little bit of context, I haven't made a video in like nearly 2 weeks now. So last Monday, I unfortunately, when I was kind of getting ready for work, I like really badly hurt my back. So I've basically been out of work for the past week, and yeah, I've just been in absolute agony. So I'm finally kind of starting to come around now and I'm back to work and everything, but yeah, like for the last week I haven't been able really to do anything, so I wasn't kind of recording videos or anything like that. But I have been watching a lot of movies, as you can probably imagine. Like, I was literally on the sofa at home for the whole week, so believe it or not, I got 30 movies watched over the past week. So that's quite an achievement. But yeah, I was thinking about doing like a full weekly watches, but like I'm not. I just feel like if I talk about every single film I watched, I'll be here all day. So I kind of picked the ones, I guess, that kind of stood out to me the most in terms of maybe not necessarily like the best films or like the greatest films that I watch, but just the ones that for me I kind of personally enjoyed the most, and the ones that I guess in my kind of delicate state kind of brought me the most joy and kind of comfort and enjoyment kind of at that moment. So yeah, there's no kind of Citizen Kanes or anything here, but yeah, I have a couple of movies I just want to mention, kind of ones that I just particularly really enjoyed, and just like a mixed bag of movies. I am on Letterboxd, and I did log all the films that I watched on Letterboxd over the week. So if you're on Letterboxd and you want to just kind of have a run through of all the movies that I watched, the link will be on my YouTube channel, so you can check that out, and you can give me a follow as well if you want. But yeah, without further ado, I'm just going to talk about some of the highlights of the week. And yeah, if there's any of these that you've seen or that you'd kind of be interested in checking out yourself, definitely please leave me a comment and let me know. So the first of the week's movies that I really enjoyed, this was actually the first movie I watched of the whole week, last Monday. And yeah, this is a movie that's been on my watch list for a really long time, and I only picked it up on DVD maybe in the last couple of months. But yeah, this one I absolutely loved. So this is a film from Sidney Lumet, and it is from 1988, and it's this one, Running on Empty. So yeah, this film stars Judd Hirsch, Christine Latty and River Phoenix kind of in the main roles, and it also has a supporting performance from Martha Plimpton in it as well. So essentially this film, it's about a family. Like, it's basically really a family drama, but basically the kind of crux of the story is that the parents back in the 60s or 70s, they blew up a napalm lab kind of in protestation of the Vietnam War. So essentially since then they have been fugitives, and they've been on the run from the FBI, and kind of over the years they've kind of taken on kind of various different identities and all that kind of thing. And they have 2 children, and one of them being River Phoenix's character. So he's kind of coming of age now. He is he's like a senior in high school, and kind of starting to kind of consider I guess kind of career opportunities and everything like that. But because his parents are fugitives, and they have kind of such a kind of very, a history of having kind of various identities and all this kind of thing, his kind of future is really unclear. And so I guess it's really a story about him trying to, I guess, kind of try to find some individuality and trying to become like a separate person, basically, from the life that his parents lived, and kind of forge his own way in life. And yeah, it's a really beautiful story, really well told. Martha Plimpton, she kind of plays the like the kind of girlfriend, the love interest of the River Phoenix character, and I guess she's kind of one of the catalysts, I guess, for him wanting to wanting to have his own life, and to kind of be honest about who he is and who his family are and everything like that. And yeah, it's a really, really beautiful story, really well directed. The setting and everything is beautiful. It's just, yeah, a really, really enjoyable little film. Fantastic family drama with just some great performances. So it's kind of shocking to me that this is a film that, like, not a lot of people kind of seem to talk about it. Like, it's never really mentioned, like, well, from kind of what I hear, a lot of people don't really talk about it when they talk about Sidney Lumet. They tend to talk about kind of maybe some of his earlier work, which is of course fantastic, but this is a really, really underrated film in my opinion, and I think it kind of belongs up there with some of the better kind of family dramas I've watched, kind of the likes of Ordinary People and that kind of thing. So definitely, if that sounds like your cup of tea, and if you're a Sidney Lumet fan, you know, definitely one I would highly recommend checking out. So yeah, absolutely cracking start to the week of watches running on empty. Really, really highly recommend this one. And then the next movie that I really enjoyed is one that I had in my collection actually for a little while, and I haven't gotten around to watching yet, but I've been really enjoying watching kind of more John Frankenheimer films and kind of trying to get more acquainted with his work. Yeah, I realized that this is one that he had directed and I had it in my collection, so I just threw it on and just kind of gave it a go, and I absolutely loved it. So this one is it's from 1994. It's actually a TV movie, and it's a prison drama called Against the Wall. And this one, as I said, is directed by John Frankenheimer, and it stars Samuel L. Jackson and Kyle MacLachlan in the kind of primary roles. So yeah, this was just such a good film in my opinion. This was, as I said, it was a TV movie, but yeah, like I actually didn't even realize it was a TV movie until like I kind of looked it up afterwards. Yeah, it was like really high kind of production quality, and yeah, it was like a really, really impressive film. I thoroughly enjoyed this one. So but yeah, essentially this film, it takes place in 1971, and kind of during the time of the Vietnam War. Essentially it kind of centers on the character played by Kyle MacLachlan, and I guess he's kind of like a hippie kind of turned prison guard. So he can tell he kind of has some kind of sympathies with like the hippie movement and stuff at the start of the film, and in order to kind of support his pregnant wife, he becomes a prison guard in the Attica prison in New York. Yeah, so he joins the prison and as a guard, and literally within the first couple of days there's a kind of riot, and there is basically a protest within the prison, and this is all based off the true story, by the way, of the Attica prison riots. The character that Samuel L. Jackson plays, he's kind of like one of the kind of ringleaders of the kind of prisoners, and kind of one of the you know, he's kind of spearheading the whole kind of riot and the whole protest. And essentially what they're doing is they're striking for better kind of conditions within the prison. So yeah, it just seems like within the prison, even though these are obviously very kind of hardened criminals, the conditions are very poor, and they don't kind of get kind of regular kind of clean clothes and changes of clothes, and kind of the toilet paper rations are very scarce, and like the food and the letters are being kind of opened and everything before they're being sent. So they have a lot of complaints that they kind of want addressed, and it kind of comes at a time where there's a lot of kind of political upheaval anyway, and you know, kind of even like workers kind of demanding more rights and all that kind of thing. So it's very politically charged, but yeah, as you can kind of imagine, within the prison things kind of get completely out of hand, and there's a lot of violence, and yeah, there's a lot of kind of action that takes place within the prison, between the prisoners and the guards. And the Kyle MacLachlan character, kind of as a new prison guard, he's sort of caught up in the middle of things, and yeah, it's just a really fascinating story. I just found the story itself, like the historical kind of event of it, actually just really fascinating, but the way it was told, I just thought was absolutely fantastic. The performances were brilliant. Some of the other kind of prisoners and the guards, their kind of performances as well were really fantastic, and there was just a raft of kind of really interesting characters kind of throughout the film. So yeah, one that I really, really enjoyed. Again, if you're into your kind of prison dramas, your kind of political films, all that kind of thing, your kind of Vietnam era kind of political films, this one would be right up your street. I just thought this was really, really fantastic, and again, one I just don't hear anyone talking about. So again, the kind of highest recommendations for this one, Against the Wall. I really enjoyed this one. So next I'm moving on to a western that I really enjoyed during the week, and this western, it was actually directed by Tommy Lee Jones, who is one of my favourite actors, and it also stars Tommy Lee Jones, and this film is from 2014, and the film in question is The Homesman. So yeah, as you can see, this one also stars Hilary Swank, and yeah, this was just such an enjoyable western. I just feel like there's sometimes when you put on the right movie at the right moment and you just get totally like lost in the film. And yeah, I was just totally captivated by this film when I watched it. I just kind of just got lost in like the landscapes and just the story, and everything about this just really appealed to me. It was just absolutely fantastic. So kind of briefly, the story of this one, it's kind of starts by centering around the character played by Hilary Swank. I think her name is Mary B. Cuddy, and essentially she is like a spinster, and she kind of lives a very kind of independent lifestyle. Basically in the West, she's very isolated, but she has a very kind of independent life, kind of farming, and you know, she's a God-fearing kind of woman, and she's very kind of respected in the community as well. So essentially she is given the task of escorting basically like three very kind of mentally disturbed women from the community, and escorting them from Nebraska, where they are, to basically like a safe haven in Iowa. So it's basically like a Methodist kind of church that also kind of takes in women and kind of basically looks after them, women that are kind of like these people that are a bit emotionally kind of disturbed, and who've kind of had like abuse and all that kind of thing. So her task is basically to take them on that journey, and the journey itself takes 5 weeks. So on her way, she runs into the Tommy Lee Jones character, who is basically like he's kind of like a drifter like kind of character, and like a bit of a kind of like a small time criminal, and essentially he is about to be hung. So yeah, he's literally in like a really bad situation. So she basically offers him the chance for freedom if he comes along on the journey with her, and basically kind of helps her out with anything that he needs. So I don't want to kind of give away too much more, or kind of give away any more kind of plot, but that's kind of the essential kind of crux of the story. But yeah, I really enjoyed this film. So as I said, it was just one of these ones that I just, from kind of when I put it on to the end, I was just totally like enveloped in the story and just totally captivated. I just absolutely love the scenery. I just love westerns for that reason anyway. Just the scenery to me is just absolutely stunning. This is a really beautifully made film. Really well shot, well directed, well acted. Everything is great in it. But the story itself I thought was fabulous, and there is a couple of twists in this story as well that you do not see coming. And to be honest, like there was a couple of points like I was shocked at what was kind of happening. And yeah, I like it just really had me so captivated the whole way through. Yeah, one that I just absolutely loved. So I'm kind of definitely in the mood to kind of get my hands on a couple more kind of modern westerns, I guess. I've definitely been exploring a whole swathe of all different types of westerns, but if anyone has any more recommendations for kind of some more modern ones, definitely let me know below kind of what your favorite ones are, and if I haven't seen them already, I'll definitely check them out. But yeah, absolutely fantastic film, and a little performance from the end by Meryl Streep as well, which is always nice to see. So yeah, The Homesman, I absolutely loved this film, would highly recommend this one. And there's another Tommy Lee Jones film actually that I watched during the week that I absolutely loved as well, but unfortunately I don't think this film is available on physical media, so I don't have a copy. This was actually one that I think I rented it on Amazon Prime. I was just so keen to see it that I just was like, yeah, I'm just going to rent it because I need to see it. But the film in question is called Finest Kind. So yeah, I think this is a pretty new film. I think it's from either 2023 or 24, but yeah, a really new film, and not one that I have heard really anyone kind of talking about. So yeah, I knew I had to check it out, especially that it's has Tommy Lee Jones in it as well. But yeah, there's a lot going on in this film, but it's kind of a hard one to sum up. But essentially it's about kind of these two half brothers. Basically, one is played by the older brother is played by Ben Foster, and he's essentially a scallop kind of fisherman. Like, he works on a trawler, and he is in the film, his dad is played by Tommy Lee Jones, and I guess he's had like the kind of not the easiest kind of life. You know, they kind of didn't seem like they kind of had a lot in life, whereas the younger brother, who is his half brother, they have the same mother, but he kind of grew up in pretty much a life of kind of privilege, and you know, it's expected that he'll kind of go off to university, and he's going to kind of achieve all these kind of things, and achieve kind of greatness and everything in his life. So while they're two brothers, they could not be kind of any different. But essentially it kind of starts out that the younger brother kind of wants a little bit of escapism from, you know, this kind of perfect life that he's living, and he goes to the small town basically where the Ben Foster character lives, his older brother, and he basically starts going out on the trawler with him, and just to kind of experience something a little bit different and just something outside of the routine. And yeah, he absolutely loves it, but of course, like, he kind of doesn't realize that it's not a holiday, it's not meant to be fun, like, it's really hard work. So there's a lot of, I guess, a lot of kind of bonding and everything that kind of comes from that, and I guess the younger brother kind of gets to experience kind of the world that his older brother kind of lives in, and that it's very far removed from his. But then the real drama, I guess, happens when the two brothers essentially decide to kind of get involved with this kind of crime group, I guess, from Boston, and kind of get involved with this kind of drug run. And yeah, just as you can kind of imagine, just things do not go to plan. But yeah, as I said, there is a lot going on in this film. So yeah, there's kind of a lot of moving parts in it, but essentially that's kind of the main storyline. But yeah, I have to say the action in this film is just absolutely fantastic. So Tommy Lee Jones, as I said, he plays the kind of dad character of Ben Foster in this movie, and yeah, just what a character he is. He is just absolutely fantastic, and he's just doing his best Tommy Lee Jones in this movie. Yeah, he's absolutely fantastic. If you're a fan of Jenna Ortega as well, she's in this, and she kind of plays the love interest of the younger brother character. And yeah, she's very good in it. All the cast are fantastic in it. But kind of what I really loved about it, for some reason, I just love films that are set in small kind of American towns, kind of, rather than, you know, like the big cities. Like, I love films set in New York and LA and everything, but I just love me like a good kind of small town Americana kind of setting, and just kind of real people with real problems, and just kind of getting themselves into messes, and just kind of real situations, and yeah, just the kind of authenticity that kind of comes with that. I just really love films. Yeah, I just love films that are not necessarily like in the big cities, but are just in, you know, normal kind of towns and villages and cities and stuff, that are you know, that just kind of have normal real people. And this definitely has a very kind of real kind of feeling to it. And I think that's kind of why I just loved it so much. It was just, yeah, it just felt so kind of authentic. But the action and the drama and everything in it just was absolutely fantastic. But yeah, as I said, unfortunately, it doesn't have a physical media release as far as I can see. If it ever does get one, it'll definitely be one that I'll be picking up straight away, because I thought it was fantastic. But I'm not sure, maybe it could be on streaming, but if you're interested in watching it, yeah, you can probably either rent it or kind of get it maybe on the Fire Stick Plus. I don't know, it's up to you, but yeah, definitely one that I would highly recommend if it kind of sounds like it's your cup of tea. So the final two movies I'm going to talk about, these are definitely in a completely different tone to the first couple of movies. So the other ones were kind of more kind of drama and more serious movies, whereas yeah, there was two just kind of like fun horror movies that I watched during the week that just absolutely like entertained me and just really kind of satisfied me. So I just had to talk about them. So the first one is, this is probably like a pretty famous film, I think, at this point. I think there's a lot of entries into this franchise. This is the first one that I've seen, but I'm definitely going to be seeking out the rest of them. But this film, it is a horror movie from 2007. So yeah, this is old enough now, I guess, at this point. And the movie in question is Hatchet. So yeah, this is like, I'm sure probably a lot of the people that are interested in horror in the community have probably seen this one already. But yeah, it was another one that I had in my collection for ages and ages, and I just thought, when I'm kind of watching a load of movies, it was a good opportunity just to watch this one and just kind of get it watched and kind of see what I thought of it. But yeah, why did I love this film so much? I just was so entertained by this film. So yeah, essentially this is a slasher film, and it's set in like one of my all-time favorite film settings, which is Louisiana and like the bayou. Like, I'm obsessed with films that are basically set in Louisiana. I just think it's just the most gorgeous setting. I'm just obsessed with like New Orleans and like, yeah, like the Louisiana bayou. I just think is the most incredible setting for a film. But this kind of brought together all of the more kind of kookier elements of, I guess, that kind of culture, like the voodoo culture and everything like that, and brought them all into basically a slasher movie. So yeah, it's essentially about this kind of group of friends, these tourists who go out on this kind of haunted swamp tour in New Orleans, and it's essentially, yeah, to bring them around all these kind of haunted places on this boat. And it's kind of not long then before they kind of learn about the legend of this guy called Victor Crowley. And yeah, as you can kind of imagine, for like a slasher movie, it turns out that it's not really much of a legend, that he's actually like a real killer, and he's actually really out there just basically just absolutely demolishing people. And like, some of the kills in this are just absolutely mental. Like, he is just the most kind of just deranged, kind of crazy killer. And all of the kills in this, like, there's just no messing around. Like, he's just straight in there and he's just killing people. Like, he, you know, there's absolutely no two ways about it. So yeah, it was just a really fun time. The characters that are actually, you know, the characters that all going to go on this tour, they're a lot of fun. Just, they're all kind of really stupid, but there's just a lot of kind of fun dialogue. It's just really funny. The guy that's doing the boat tour is really funny. They're all just really stupid people, but they just find themselves in this just terrifying situation where they're just being absolutely like hunted down by this killer. And yeah, I just enjoyed every second of this film. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. It's a slasher, but it's so much fun. So I am now on a mission to track down every single Hatchet film that was ever made. I think there could be 5. But yeah, I need to see every single one of them now, and hopefully they're just as fun as this one. The ratings of this film are not so good. So if you're kind of gonna watch this on my recommendation, thinking that you're gonna get this like incredibly made film, like, that's not what this is. But if you're looking just for like a really fun time with a couple of beers and you know, just to have a lot of fun and kind of not take a film too seriously, then I think this is a really good one. I thoroughly enjoyed it anyway, so it's definitely one that I'll be keeping and kind of rewatching in the future. But yeah, I really can't wait to get the rest in the series as well. But yeah, Hatchet, I just absolutely love this one. And then the final film that I want to talk about is it's another horror, and this one is from 1994, and it's another movie that has just been on my radar for ages and ages, and this is just a recent pickup for me. So this one will also be in my June haul. I just picked this one up actually last week, but it's a film that I've been curious about for so long, and it's this one called Brain Scan. So yeah, this is like I mean, look at this guy. Like, this just intrigued me so much. I just had to know everything about this film. I needed to see it, so I picked it up from CEX last week. But yeah, I just absolutely loved this film. Like, I had no right to enjoy this film as much as I did, but this was just such a good time. So essentially this film, it stars Edward Furlong kind of in the main role, as like this basically this kind of loner kid who is like obsessed with playing horror video games. And essentially he kind of stumbles upon this game called Brain Scan, and in the game they kind of use this kind of hypnosis thing to make you kind of feel like you're in the game. And basically what you're doing is you're going around your neighborhood basically killing people and just like committing murder, and it just feels like you're literally going in and you have a task basically to like murder somebody. And then kind of what we kind of find then when he basically comes out of the kind of hypnotic state, we kind of find that the murder actually took place for real. So as you can imagine, the character, he's like absolutely freaking out and kind of doesn't understand kind of how this happened, how this works. But then the character, he's basically like the kind of mascot of the game. This kind of trickster character kind of appears, and basically says that he's going to have to kind of complete the game and play the next disc and the next disc. And obviously, of course, he's kind of freaking out because he's like, if I keep playing it, are more people kind of going to get hurt? And then all the while then Frank Langella is in this as well, and he is basically the detective who is kind of going around asking questions, trying to figure out who committed the murder. So it's like very tense, but this is just, oh god, this was just so much fun. Like, I can't even explain how much fun I had with this film. Again, it was just another film that it just hit me at the perfect time, in the perfect mood, and it was just so much fun from start to finish. I really enjoyed it. It kind of really reminded me of like kind of being a kid and like watching like kind of like a Goosebumps episode, and like a kid, you know, getting himself in this kind of crazy kind of situation, this, you know, and trying to figure out how to get out of it. Except obviously this is much more kind of on an extreme level, because obviously there's kind of murder and there's gore and there's kind of some body horror elements and everything in it as well. So obviously it's much more extreme, but it just had that kind of like fun kind of horror feel to it that you would kind of get with Goosebumps and stuff when you were a kid. So to me, I just really loved this. I feel like if I had seen this when I was a kid, I just feel like this could be just one of my favorite films, because yeah, as I said, it was just so much fun, so entertaining. I just absolutely loved it. So this is definitely one I just feel like I want to rewatch this one already. Like, I feel this is going to be definitely a an easy kind of rewatch for me. So look, it's not, again, this is not like a film that is kind of fantastic by any standards, but if you're just looking for something, again, really fun, just really entertaining, with some kills and kind of some like creepy characters like this guy in it, this should just be right up your street. So if you haven't checked this one out, I highly recommend it. Just what a fun film. Absolutely love this one. Yeah, so those are basically kind of just some of my favorite watches from the week. As I said, I did watch a lot more films, so you can check out my letterbox and see just all of the movies that I have been watching. You probably see there's a lot of films that are a lot more kind of critically acclaimed that I watched during the week, but we don't want to talk about them. We want to talk about like the fun stuff like Brain Scan. But no, there was just some films that I watched that, yeah, were definitely kind of on my kind of long kind of term watch list, but yeah, I guess just ones that maybe didn't kind of necessarily kind of do much for me. I just thought they were great films, but kind of not ones that kind of got me excited or kind of got me inspired really as much as some of these ones did. So yeah, you can check out the full list on Letterboxd anyway, but yeah, those were some of my favorite watches. And if you have any thoughts on any of those titles that I talked about, I'd love to hear your thoughts, so definitely please leave a comment below. And yeah, I will be back hopefully in the next couple of days with my kind of June physical media haul, which I'm really excited about. I have another couple of titles left to come, and then I'll get a haul video up. But yeah, if you are still watching this video, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I really look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.